Hello YouTube, welcome back. My name is Ubershark and today we are doing some Forza Motorsport GT3 racing at Watkins Glen. We got a great race ahead of us, full of action, no bumping at all, never bumping. Yeah, we got a good one. And like normal, we're not going to have a lot of cuts on lap 1 because it's just always so fun to watch all the chaos unfold. So as we turn into turn 1 here, we're just going to witness this beautiful, safe driving. Beautiful. Somehow sneak through all of that without a single penalty, which is very unlike Forza. But it is what it is. Sitting in 15th, which is where we started, but getting a free overtake right there into 14th, down the main straight, with 3 cars right behind me, demonstrating how to attempt murder, with that Lexus almost shoving me right into that wall, making me lose quite a few positions. So now we're sitting in 17th, but that's okay. Still quite a large group of cars ahead of us, but in this race, I started 15th, and I was racing with a good buddy of mine, Aventador, who started in 17th. I believe he had a worse start than me, and we're going to ignore that Porsche just terribly rejoining the racing line. Don't know why he had to drift across the whole track there, but whatever. But we're both driving in the Audi R8s and have kind of rough starts, probably due to not qualifying and starting in the back, but we slowly make it up the grid. So as we sneak by this Lexus, we're behind a McLaren that we're going to see quite a bit this race, driven by the Robin Hood. Quite a lovely name. And starting in the lap 2, right, going back into turn 1, we catch back up to the group ahead of us. The Mercedes, the McLaren, and a Ferrari, and then this Lamborghini goes off and gives us a free overtake. And remember him, because he becomes a key player in just a few turns here. Now I'm going to bail a little bit here because I got scared of that turn after the last, lap, but that Mercedes definitely left me room. I could have probably pushed it a little bit faster, but not worth it. But now we're behind 12th, 11th, and 10th, and I think we see quite a few cars ahead of us, so it's looking good. And this Mercedes gets a nice overtake, and I almost sneak through as well, but he decides to give me a little bump and just nosedive, and I still think I could have overtaken, but he decides to attempt a murder and throw me off the track and push me into the wall. But as we're going to see by the Lambo, we're going to be taught how to actually murder, and he completely takes them all out and gives us the overtake. Not 100% on the Mercedes, but we get it done. Now we're behind 10th place, another Ferrari, and we're catching up. Doesn't seem to have the same amount of pace as us, but on this long straight, get right into the slipstream and just stick it on the inside, lick the stamp and send it, and get the overtake. And with that, we don't really see that Ferrari again, because once we overtake him, the McLaren, the Robin Hood, overtakes him as well. We get another free overtake there. Don't know what happened. Definitely wasn't a crash. But now we are in 9th, trying to chase down 8th place, who is in a Bentley. And as we have been following him, we kind of catch back up to the group ahead of us, and he starts getting a little squirrely, which allows us to really get the run on him and get into that slipstream down this main straight. That McLaren still neatly right behind us, reminding us he's still there. But we get the run on the Bentley, and we go for the overtake, but it gets a little messy. Everything's fine on the straight, but little bump, everything's fine. Another bump, I somehow catch it. He does not. Kind of a bummer. I feel a little bad. I'm not 100% sure if I could have stopped that or if it was my fault or his fault, but it is a bummer. But the McLaren caught up, and the Robin Hood will get the old switcheroo on me here. That's okay. He's got 2.25 seconds worth of penalties, so being behind him isn't the end of the world as long as we stay within that penalty range. Now, as we stay behind him, more action happens with this Porsche going way wide and joining back on and just kind of getting in the way. I think I get the overtake here, but I don't, and he sneaks back up on the inside, and the Robin Hood starts to slowly sneak away from us. I go a little too outside on this turn. Don't push track limits, but I lose position. And now we are firmly stuck behind this Porsche. Fortunately, we get an excellent run on him through turn 1. He gets a little squirrely going up, loses a bit of speed, and allows us to just squeeze on through. Now, like always, going to be a little scared because this turn is just a death trap, but he's a little more scared and bails out, allowing us to just send it through and take the position. Now, unfortunately, looking at the top left, we see Robin Hood has driven fast enough and far enough away that we're no longer in the penalty range, but he gets held up by traffic, which allows us to catch back up. And now, as you can see, in front of him, 5th place, Cadillac. Not sure what his strategy was, but I'm pretty sure he put on softs because he has no grip and becomes very squirrely and very slow, causing the McLaren to just really be held up. And he almost gets the overtake here, but just kind of bumps him. But he's a gentleman. He says sorry. Now we're right up on his butt. Fake the nosedive. Almost get the overtake on Mr. Hood, but just can't quite do it. A little too scared of the Cadillac. But as this lap gets rounded off, we're going to be taught how not to pit from Mr. Cadillac. Decides to go as wide as possible and cut all the way across into the pit lane, because that was predictable. But he does that, and we lose quite a bit of time, and Robin Hood takes off again. But it's fine. We catch back up. Now it's lap 7. I'm planning on pitting lap 8, so my mediums are still looking good. I'm feeling good. And we catch back up on the bus stop. Now, his tires are definitely starting to look worn, probably from all the hard racing he's been doing. Every person I have overtaken in the last 2 laps, he has caught up and battled and allowed me through. Again, fake nosedive, but he is super late in the brakes, and I'm actually able to pull it off. And now, going down this main straight, I'm playing defensive, but it doesn't really matter, because as we take this turn, we're going to notice that he's just losing a lot more speed than we would have anticipated. His tires are just gone, and we're able to just pull away. He's going to pit this lap, so it doesn't really matter. But now jumping ahead to lap 8, you're going to see our tires are cooked. Absolutely cooked. So we're going to pit. We're in 4th place after starting 15th. Feeling pretty good, but no one near me has pit yet, so these positions aren't really, I guess, real yet. But going in the pit, putting on some new mediums, leaving the pit in 10th place, and behind us, my buddy Aventador. He's also caught up, also pit, and now we're in 10th and 11th. Now, got 4 seconds to the guy in front and 4 seconds to Aventador behind me, but as the race continues, we have a little moment on the main straight. I like to leave my keyboard on the ground next to my sim cockpit in case I need to do anything, but that allows pets to walk over the keyboard, and we have a bit of a moment here where the dog walks on the keyboard and a million menus pop up. And I'm panicking, trying to fix it. I lose about 6 seconds, and Aventador catches up. And not only does he catch up, he brings friends. And I'm still panicking because the dog is continuing to walk on the keyboard, and I'm just trying to make sure trying not to lose any more time than I have to. But Aventador sneaks by, and I'm panicking. I don't want the Mercedes to get by, but he realizes my panic and just really capitalizes on my mistake. And now we're in 8th. Luckily for us, the guy in 7th, FX 9Y, has 2.3 seconds penalties, so we can just stay behind him and basically guarantee that we'll finish in front of him. But going down the main straight, we're going to get a little bit of luck here with them getting a little bit touchy on the bus stop, allowing us to catch back up to my buddy Aventador. And from this point on, there's going to be very little cuts. We're going to watch the next couple laps pretty much without cuts because this is some clean, smooth, fantastic racing. Me and Aventador do a lot of racing together, so we really trust each other. We're pretty safe around each other. And it just allows some really good racing until the tires are worn, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to stick it right behind him on the main straight, get that slipstream. I'm going to peek out just so I can see where the Mercedes is and get my braking reference. But we're just going to drive nice and calm and then accidentally just destroy him and pick up a penalty, which is fine. I don't know how that one was a penalty and all the other stuff wasn't, but no matter what, we should have had a penalty at some point in this race, so can't really complain. But we're really starting to sneak up, and we're right on Aventador's butt. Now we're gonna brake a little early and get just an absolute banger of an exit. Now it's lap 13 out of 16, and I'm not trying to overtake my buddy here because we're trying to do this intelligently. We're just trying to catch up to the Mercedes and at the same time not pick up any more penalties, and I'm trying to get that safety rating up because it somehow has dropped quite a bit. Probably from lap 1 every race. Doesn't help. But if you look into our mirrors right now, we have a Mercedes catching up. He's about a second behind. And we have a penalty, so we're going to have to start making some moves or he's just going to get my position for free. So as we get to the end of lap 13, it's time to start considering making some overtakes and trying to get a better position. Because no matter what, we have to pass my buddy Aventador because he has a penalty, but not as severe as mine. So I gotta get by him. So going into lap 14, I decided I'm going to try and get these overtakes. So we're catching up to the Mercedes. So we get a much better exit, which allows us to get the nice overtake on him. Just barely though, but we get it. He tucks behind us, grabs the slipstream, and now we're just focused ahead. Because I know I can trust him not to destroy me on this turn. But looking ahead, our boy FX9Y is starting to lose quite a bit of pace. Probably decided to go on softs because I don't really understand how he could have lost this much pace. But it's pretty obvious his tires are completely gone. And he pits at the end of this lap. But for some reason, even though he's going to lose all these positions due to pitting, he is going to battle his little heart out and prevent any overtake from happening. Now we get a little squirrely there, which kind of ruins our exit, and we can't really get this overtake done. We just kind of tap each other, and it is what it is. Aventador slips by, and then FX9Y just decides to pit, so whatever. Aventador kind of gets a good run on us after the overtake, but we start to catch back up on the bus stop, which tends to be our strongest spot against him. And as we're just sitting right behind him, starting to catch up, it's lap 15, right? So we were studying him, trying to see where we're strong and where we're weak. And now we have tire wear. So a new variable is here to play. And as we get on to lap 16, this is when we have to start making moves. And I love Aventador. I'm not gonna race dirty against him, but he's pretty good. So it's gonna have to be some tough racing. Now, you can kind of tell already, both of our tires are just pooping out because neither of us carried any speed through turn 1. But going down this main straight, we have very low grip in the tires left. So I know that the chicane, the bus stop, is going to be a little messy, but I had just a bit better of a run through it, and it really just lets me catch right up to him, right onto his butt. And now the race is on. Probably going into sector 2 at this point. Not a lot of turns left. I get almost the overtake, but he knows me too well. Gets the old switcheroo. And then I go on the throttle a little too early and just go into the wall, but somehow save it. And wind up just bumping into Aventador's butt, which really, really compromised his race. I get a much better run off of him because of it, but he's not really able to keep up anymore. And I would not be shocked if his tires are more worn than mine, because the cars behind catch up and it's just a night and day difference, their pace versus his. They just have way more grip. And they're able to just sneak by him, which sucks because it makes me kind of feel like it's my fault. I mean, it's partially my fault, but it just sucks. We definitely could have gotten 6th and 7th, but he gets overtaken, and now he's sitting in 8th place, but he has a penalty. So as we cross the finish line, he's going to unfortunately move down to 9th place. But it was a fun race. We started from the back. It was great. It felt clean until the end, and we finished pretty well. If you made it this far, I want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Until next time, see you guys later.